Okay, approaches second class. So we did this 29th of July. Okay, we continued from the book, this book. Still doing Unit 10. Looked at the behaviourist approach, which we talked again about Pavlovian theory, that you can have a conditioned approach where if you give them a stimuli, they will learn to act in a certain way. So that means you do lots of practice, and it becomes like rote learning. But there is something to be said that it can only be short term. So those dogs, for example, would forget after a while. They would disassociate the ringing of the bell with food. So same with the rote learning, often it's in the short-term memory, which is the front of the brain, not the back, not long-term. So we talked more about Pavlov and the conditioned stimuli equals conditioned response. So the metronome they use as well as a bell, and the response is salivating. So we can say, well, the stimuli is the audio played over and over, and the response will be the correct answer for it. Okay, so we watched that, and then we moved on talking about Chomsky, saying that Chomsky believes in universal grammar. So once again, didn't agree with the grammar translation method, which was still something that continued on from last week. So when you're doing a situational teaching, you set up the lesson, introduce the structure, and then you drill it. So that happened, the situational English. This is revision, but so we had the grammar translation, then we had direct, then we had the situational English, and then audiolingual. So still reviewing from last week, audiolingual. And they also mentioned conditioning in audiolingual because it's a lot of repetition. Anything that's repetitious is, we say, has conditioning involved. And that was just all from the book. And last little bit I taught you, well, we mentioned about Diane Larson Freeman's book. You can go in there, it's in the Dropbox to learn more about different methods. This is still audiolingual. All right, and then we talked about what we're doing next week, and yep. So once again, just in revision, that an approach is a broad direction, a philosophical view. Method is more like the solution of how we do something, and technique is a task or a skill that we give the students. Okay, and I sent people an audio about, based from this book, about what pre-method is and what post-method is. But post-method basically is that the teacher places the learner in the centre, and from there works out what would be the best approach / method to teach. Okay, so the teachers are drawn by the many ideas and materials that meet the needs of the learners at any one time, and then make a lesson from there, responding on their own knowledge. And then we talk about the principles of language teaching, which are these, what we can do to help our students. So when we're deciding which approach, we need to look at how they're developing and what sequence we can teach, and who learns quicker than others, and what kind of interaction you want, and how they develop, and whether we have a lot of regulation or we can let them become autonomous, and do we offer secure enough relationships for them, and other social cultural issues might come into play. Look at that, and do the VARC and the Kolb and the multiple intelligences quizzes for them to work out what kind of person they are. And let them do a bit of play. So that's like the silent method. Have a bit of fun, because if there's a high stress factor, they won't learn so much. And that was the end of approaches lesson 2. Thank you. Bye-bye.